Good morning. Morning. Welcome, everybody. Wow, it's actually a good crowd. I like it. What I love about the Inner Circle sessions every week is I get to speak about something that's going on that's relevant right now, in the moment. It's exciting to see so many of you because I don't see your faces, I hear your voices. So every week I hear your voices, and last night I was talking to a lot of you, and I was listening to voices like, oh wow, you're Chris. Oh wow, you're John. But like a lot of you have obviously turned up here, and we've attended an event. Okay. What's interesting about attending this event is I want to tell you a quick story. Where's Joey? Is Joey in the room? Is that Joey? Yeah. What's up? You all right, Joe? What's interesting, obviously, has anybody watched the video that Joey did with myself, my wife, my children, my mum? Put your hand up if you've seen it. Okay, not most of you have seen it, right? So that story was very condensed when I went to Alabama. What happened after that? Well, I want to talk about a story at the moment before we dive into and actually start handing out some handouts. Is I actually attended a seminar in San Francisco. But here's what happened to me, right? So I signed up to a coaching program just like this. I was a part of a group like this where we were with like-minded people. You know, everybody's on the outside. You know, I've attended a group, and by the way, you know, I'm really excited for all of you being in here. You know, so I knew I needed to be in this room. I had to be here. But the fact was, I had to fly to San Francisco, and I didn't have the money to attend to San Francisco. Now, who's flown to be here? Just hands up. So let me just hands up. Who's flown? Keep your hands high. So we got you know, people who have flown to be here, right? Congratulations, by the way. The people who have flown to be here, and everybody, congratulations for being here. But for the people who've flown here, it's interesting. So I had to be in San Francisco to an event. Actually, I want to tell a story about Miami in a moment as well, which will make you all laugh. But I wanted to be in San Francisco. I had no money. I had zero money to get to San Francisco. So think about this a second. I knew I needed to be there for my success, but I didn't have any money to get there. So what I did was I spoke to my wife again, my lovely wife, who's always bailed me out of these situations, and I needed to borrow money. So I need to be in San Francisco next week. So the flight was very expensive. So what happened was I ended up taking a flight from Bristol, which is about an hour away, from Bristol to... So I drove to Bristol, then I went from Bristol to Amsterdam, from Amsterdam to Minneapolis, from Minneapolis to San Francisco. I arrived in San Francisco, and I was homeless in San Francisco because I had no money to get a hotel room. I hadn't booked a hotel to get there, and I didn't have money to get a hotel. So I was actually homeless in San Francisco to attend an event just like this. And I hung around in the hotel lobby. And I was in the hotel lobby for like a couple of hours until I found somebody who would let me share a room with them. You know, it's laughable, but it's a true story. That's the point where I was to get my business going. Like, that's how much I wanted it. Now, we're gonna go through some worksheets today, and we're gonna have some handouts for you, and there's gonna be, you know, reasons why, you know, and we'll talk about a few things. But back to the story. I was in San Francisco, homeless, and this person's allowed me in his room, and I slept in a room with him. Now, hey, we didn't sleep in the same bed. We had separate beds, luckily enough. But that event turned out to be a life-changing event, and you're going to realize why. As we go through the event today, we're going to see a few things, and I'll talk to you about the things today that I went through at that event. So can we have some handouts? I don't know who's giving the handouts, but I want the vision, and we got pens as well. I want the handouts given to people, and I want the vision handouts given to people. How's everyone doing this morning, by the way? Everyone good? Barry? Barry, right? I can hear the voice. Colleen, Chris, huh? Katie. Yeah, that's interesting. Seen you before, I met you before. Manchester? Okay, cool. So what we have here in front of us is a worksheet that's going to be very important for the weekend. The worksheet in front of you. Everyone got it? Anyone not got a worksheet? Put your hand up. See, I got a good team, right? So we have a worksheet. Now, in the top left-hand corner, it says, what is the vision, okay? Now, this is really important, and I want to give you some examples, and I've got some examples written down of we were talking last night over the dinner table, and I realized some of my visions when I was starting out. So, you know, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes to write out your vision here, right? So maybe, you know, your vision, are you here right now, is to get out of debt. Maybe it isn't, maybe it is, okay? Maybe your vision is to invest in property. If you've been on the coaching calls every week with me recently, you realize I'm buying land to invest in property. Right? That's one of my visions right now. Maybe your vision is to have an automated business. That you actually want that business that's automated, that is going to, make money for you when you're 24/7 when you're sleeping. In fact, as we're here right now, is Sai in the room? Sai? Yeah. So we actually launched a product yesterday. It kind of fell at the same time, and it wasn't made by purpose, but it was like, oh, this is good timing. We launched a product yesterday. I have zero clue what's happened with the launch, and I've got my product launch manual for you all this evening, later on today. But we've launched. Where are we at, Si, with sales? 650. So we made 650 sales since yesterday. We're going to keep a count of that all the way through. I think we'll be by 1,000 sales by the end of today. So as I'm still on stage, we have an automated business generating sales, okay? That sales is making us a lot of money, okay? So we're going to make maybe 500 sales from the morning to the evening. Maybe that's what you want, an automated business. Maybe you want security for the family, right? And I'm just giving you some ideas here, and you can start writing whenever you want, because I'm going to give you a few moments to write in your box what your vision is. And you'll understand why I'm getting this out first, right? Maybe it's to learn an instrument, like Adam's up there. Adam's actually learning to play the piano right now. Ben plays the drums, Adam's learning to play the piano. I watched Adam play the piano. It inspired me so much to do something so random that I want to play the piano. Just seeing a friend of mine play, I'm like, wow, I want to do that. That's a vision of mine now, to be able to play the piano in front of people. It's beautiful, Maybe that's a vision, maybe playing an instrument is your vision. Maybe it's a dream car. Like, I have my dream car. It's nothing special. I've got a Range Rover Sport. It's nothing amazing. It's not a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. I don't want one of those. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. When I move to San Diego soon, which is a vision of mine, to actually move to San Diego and take my family to San Diego and actually work from San Diego, I'll have a Bentley GT Continental. That's my vision, right? As soon as I move to San Diego, first thing. What's your vision? Maybe it's a new language, Maybe it's Spanish or something. But I want you to write down what your vision is. And I think this is very important. Before we move forward, you want to know what the vision is, why you're here. Now we're here, I'm going to say we're all here to make money. Is that fair to say? We all make some money, right? But what is it really? Write it down. I'm going to give you a couple of moments. What you really want. Is it you want your first product? Is it you want your first sales funnel? You want your first membership site? But be very clear and add some more things in there. And I'm going to give you a couple of moments just to write that down. I see you finished writing, Paul. Just give us an idea of your vision, please, sir.
Okay, so several things. Financial independence.
Who wants that? Perfect. That's what we're here for.
Long-term security. I have no pension. So
no need for a pension.
No need for a pension.
Write that down. No need for a pension.
Freedom.
Yep.
So
freedom to do what?
What I want to do when I want to do it. But it's really more about being able to travel, see different parts of the world, spend more time with my family, who I don't see, too much. So
do a little bit more salsa.
Probably less salsa, actually.
Less salsa. Okay.
Yeah.
So Paul's a salsa. So what's interesting with Paul is he actually Paul was a boxer. Just so everybody who doesn't know Paul, he was a boxer, and he actually was flat-footed. They told you, and he was flat-footed. They said, look, you need to start getting some rhythm. If you're a good boxer, you need to get some rhythm. You need to do some salsa. So Paul started doing a little bit of salsa, and he enjoyed the salsa so much, he opened up a few salsa classes and opened up a whole, pretty much owned Salsa London, right? So now he's a guy who owns all these salsa classes in London, and he come to me and said, look, dude, I'm at capacity. I can't teach any more people. So we ended up putting his dancing onto video, put it into a membership site, and we started selling it as a membership site across the world. So he's able to sell it around the world, right? And now, which is interesting, I'd love to actually speak, I'm going to bring you up actually later, actually moved to the health industry, and actually done some very interesting stuff in the health industry, so I'll bring you up. Do you want to give the mic? Who else take the mic side? Anybody else? Actually, I'm going to pick somebody out. So, go Paul, yeah?
Hey, my vision is about the same, just I want to do what I want, where I want, whenever I, basically whenever
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I was just saying I just want to do what I want, where I want, wherever I want, basically freedom.
Yep.
And just change my career into something I'm more passionate about. So
Yep.
that's my vision.
Interesting, do what I want, when I want, where I want. I think that pretty much sums it up, I think. For me, not for everybody. Everybody's got a different vision. Do what I want, when I want, where I want. and be freed up with time. And actually, what he also said was to do something I'm passionate about. You know, I went to the gym the other day. I'm training really hard right now. I'm in a competition with Adam Davis. We've got a competition going on of weight loss, not weight loss, a body fat loss. So I'm losing body fat. And I'm training really hard. I'm training harder. I'm at my personal best of strength. Like I've got 5 people training me. I've got nutritionists. I've got people around me who are helping me a lot. You know, I couldn't do it alone. Just so everyone knows, like I could not do what I'm doing alone. And in this training, I'm in the gym a lot at the moment. I'm in the gym more than I've ever been in my life. And the guy said to me, like, as I have 5 trainers, so I'm around these different guys, and they're speaking to me. And I'm like, oh, it's so hard, and I'm working so hard this week. I got a workshop, I got a launch, if I talk about my life, I'm buying a piece of land, I'm speaking to lawyers about moving to San Diego, moving my whole family to San Diego, looking at schools, looking at houses. I'm selling 2 houses right now. I'm moving to a new office. My life is busy. And the guy just said to me, but you like what you do. I'm like, sure. He said, there's a lot of people who are busy who hate what they do. I'm like, I kept pushing away. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy, you know? I had a little 2-second moan, but that was it. It was over. But he had to give it back to me, you know? So be passionate what you're about, you know? So Dean, do you want to give Dean a mic a second? I think this is like, Dean was my very first coaching client. So everybody looked that way in the room. There he is by there. That was the very, 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 very first coaching client. And I've coached thousands of people. Before this room, I've coached over the years. I've been coaching since 2008. I've coached thousands of people. Dean was the very first coaching client. Let's give him a round of applause. Right? Now, what's interesting about like Dean's story is he did everything perfect. You know, Dean come to me. What's interesting? Let me just give you a bit of background to it. So, I'm asked to speak on stage. I'm absolutely nervous of speaking on stage. This is not like my forte. I'm not like the person who speaks on stage. I only do it for the inner circle. I'm asked to speak on stage around the world all the time, and I turn it down 100 times a year. Don't do it. It's not for me. You know, I'd rather do like what I do every week, coach you guys, okay? So the very first time I'm in London, they've asked me to speak on stage in 2008. I think it was September 2008. I'm asked to speak on stage. I said, yeah, I'll do it. First time, I'll get some appearance, get my pictures on stage, be that cool guy, right? I got up on stage. We were sitting down. I was sat down on stage. He said, okay, Mr. Jeffries. I stood up. I was like, whoa. Sat back down. Couldn't stand up. It was very daunting. So Dean was in the room. Dean was actually one of the people in the room. So I had to leave the event, I had to rush off, I had to get a train and leave the event very quickly. So as I've left the event, I hear, Alex! Turn around, there's a guy running down the stairs behind me. And turn behind me, and there's Dean come behind me. He said, I've just heard you speak on stage, you know, very interested in what you do. Can you help me, please? So I give Dean a few things to do, and Dean went away. Now, I didn't give him big, audacious, I didn't give him a big vision, I didn't give him big goals. I gave him something very small to make his first dollar online. Okay? And that was it, because like everybody has like a vision, like, you know, who wants to make $1 million, right? You know, it's interesting. Dean's made several $1 million now, right? I've made several $1 million. But like, it's dollar at a time, it's a customer at a time. So what I want Dean just do is quickly is share. Like, Dean, I'd love you to just share about like, you know, that vision, that blog post and what you actually said in that blog post. You know, if you can like, you know, I'm sure you remember what you said, very passionate about it. But what was your vision of actually, you know, when you wrote that blog post, what was the vision? And then what happened beyond that vision in a very short period of time?
Yeah, sure. Well, basically, obviously your advice from that event was for me to go home and start a blog, which is something I'd never done. And also, as Alex said, the fact I hadn't made any money at that stage, I'd been trying for, I think it was about 4 years, give or take, at that time, and got into a lot of debt, really, kept buying a lot of stuff. And I'd never made that first dollar. So for me, that was my first goal. You know, I actually, in all honesty, like seeing you guys being able to do this is really good, because I actually at that stage couldn't see that far ahead, to be honest. I was quite desperate in a sense to try and just prove to myself that it could even be done. You know, because like I say, I'd failed so badly for so long that I just wanted to prove it. So my goal, my vision at that time was literally just to prove that it was possible. I mean, obviously, I think in a scenario like this even, it's all good and well hearing other people that are doing it and reading the stories. But I still think until you actually do it yourself, you still will always have a bit of a niggling doubt possibly in the back of your mind as to, is it possible for you? So
who feels that way? Who feels that way? That you actually feel it isn't possible for you? Honestly, put your hand up. This is really important for this weekend. I promise you, by the time we leave this weekend, your hands will be down, right? You won't feel that way by the end of this weekend. That's the aim of this weekend. If you feel you can't do it, by the time you walk out this weekend, you will know you can do it. Keep going, Dean. Thank you for that.
No problem. So basically, I sort of made this first blog post, set up a blog, and one of the things I did in that blog post was basically just tell the situation I was in at that stage, and I basically just sort of made this statement that my first goal is to make $1. Not 1,000, not a million, but just to make that $1, because then that would prove to me that I could do it, and then I could basically go on from there. Was the hope, that was the longer term vision to go from that, not just to make $1, of course. And once I kind of took that mindset with it and wasn't so sort of desperately chasing making money online, because I think that's what I'd ended up really getting into a situation was where I wasn't really doing anything correctly anymore, because I was so frantically just buying products and jumping all over the place that it was almost like living in a cloud almost. I just couldn't see what was in front of me. Yep. So when I kind of took a step back from that and just focused on what Alex had told me there and gave me that advice, what was incredible, to be honest, is rather than just making that $1, I think it was about 5 weeks after, roughly, 5 or 6, I actually ended up making in excess of $3,000 in sales online, of which I got 50% commissions as an affiliate. So I can tell the exact figure. It was $1,729 because it was that important to me.
I can tell you exact figures. I paid it to him as well.
So yeah, I'd set out with this goal to make $1, which some people kind of think is stupid in itself, because they think, why do you just want to make $1? I didn't just want to make $1. I wanted to just prove to myself it could be done, and then hopefully, if I could make $1, I could then go beyond there. Was my plan. And basically following the advice, it did start to happen, and very quickly. So I'm sure you can appreciate. I don't know what everyone else's situation is here, but 4 years of complete and utter mess is what it was, to be truthful. Within 5 weeks, then following the advice, finally was able to do it, and it just completely went crazy.
Here's what's interesting, what Dean just said there, if I can read between the lines. First of all, he got good advice. First of all, he got a mentor, right? Everybody in this room has a mentor, okay? First thing. Second thing, what Dean just said there is, he actually followed the advice. He did something. He didn't just listen, he did something. Third thing, he believed in what he was doing. He was asking me questions all the bloody time. Who asks me questions on the weekly calls? Right? You ask me questions. Like, he was asking me questions all the time. He's frantically asking me questions because he felt he had something. Next thing, he wrote a blog post. He actually put himself out there, which is important. He put himself out there. He didn't believe he could put himself out there, but he did. Put himself out there and just said, this is the story. I want to make $1. People were inspired by his story. People were just wowed by the simple. Think how simple it is. People were wowed by it, though. He wrote a blog post, and he actually put his heart in that blog post. I've struggled. I'm in so much debt. I now have somebody who's going to help me, and my aim is $1. Well, he didn't make $1. The first day he made $500. The first time he made a sale. I know, because I give him the money. Right? So Dean's was to make $1, right? Dean's was to make $1, right? Yours will be different. Maybe yours is to make the first sale. Maybe yours is to sell your first product. Maybe yours is you fill in the blank. For me, it was to build an information business. Like, my vision, like when I started out and I got a mentor, it wasn't $1. It was financial security. And I knew financial security was from building an information business. Why? Because I'd already sold physical products. I'd already been down that route, and it sucked. Has anybody ever sold physical products? I used to sell these motorbikes, and I'd have them in the containers, and the containers would arrive, and I'd have to bloody sell these things, and once I sold them, I've got an empty container. The great thing about information marketing is you create the information once, you have thousands of unlimited units. How many have we sold, Si? 689. So I've sold 689 units since yesterday lunchtime, and I haven't even been in the office since yesterday lunchtime, because I've been with Dean, hanging out with Dean. I've sold 689 units of an information product, and we're going to sell another 400 today, and it doesn't matter because it's already online. Who likes the thought of that? Hands high. It's lovely, you know? And that's just the start of it, what we can get to. So, your vision. Now, my vision now, if that was my vision then, you know, financial independence, you know, get out of debt. I was in crazy amounts of debt, you know. When I said I flew to San Francisco, I actually had to get 4 flights. You know, what I love now is that, and I've flown first class, and I'm not, but, you know, I'm not interested, I'm short, look, I'm not tall. So I can fly economy by all means. And I normally do fly economy. True story, Charlotte? True story. I don't need to fly like first class. Like I've done it, you know, I did it, you know. It's nice, but it's not what I want. It's not what I'm striving for. I don't want the Ferrari, you know. I'm not looking for those things. I'm looking for the security. And for now, you know, now I've got those securities in place. What I want to do now is, my passion is change people's lives. Now, who believes me that I want to change people's lives? Right? Like, it's my passion. Like, I literally wake up in the morning, I got a spring in my step. What have I here today? You know, who's on the, you know, I was on a call, I have a few different classes, so not one in this class. Last week, a guy quit his job. And I was like, wow, you know, who's here that, you know, like success stories on the inner circle calls? Have you heard a success story on the call? Hand high, have you heard a success story on the call? Where's Joey too? Like, Joey wasn't on the call last week, he was busy. What happened last week, Joe? Give him the microphone. Just every single week I hear it, and it doesn't become boring to me. Like, this is my passion. It's just like, gives it to me. But like, Joey won on the call last week. Yeah.
So last week, so I launched a product last Thursday, which we closed down yesterday, actually, whilst we were here. Do you want me to talk numbers?
I mean, look, inspire the group because, like, you know, you're in the room, and let me, before you talk numbers, let me just tell you a little thing about Joey. See these cameramen in the room? You know, Joey was once behind the scenes in the camera. You know, Joey was like in the rooms when I was speaking, and he was behind the camera. And we had a discussion, right? We had a discussion in a bar one evening. I was drinking a pint of Carling with a dash of lime. Joey was drinking a Diet Pepsi, and Joey said to me, I remember him leaning forward. Do you think I can make $1,000 online? I'm like, hell yeah, right? I can make $1,000 today, of course, right? It's not hard when you know, right? And Joey's like, okay, how? And I spoke to him about how, and we all know how. We'll speak about that today. We'll go further. Joey then, I don't know if was it 39 days or like under 30? I think it was 39 days. Within 39 days, he got off his butt. He did something like this with me that we're all going to go through. He did something just like this. He made sure he knew the plan. He knew the reason why. And I know your wife's here. I might throw you out there, and your wife might kick my bum. Maybe she won't. Maybe she's like proud of you. I'm sure. I know she's proud of you anyway. I know she's proud of you. Hit me there, you know, like reason why, right? Let's forget about numbers a sec, right? Let's just go back there 2 seconds. So, remember when you come down, December 2012. True? Is that it? Or no,
Yeah.
it's December 2012. Okay. December 2012. You come down, we're in a bar, and you asked me, could you make $1,000 online? Under a bit of pressure, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he didn't need to make $1,000. He needed to make a lot more money because he was getting married in May. Was it May?
Yeah.
May 2013. All right. Little bit of pressure, right? Expensive wedding. She's got good taste. Expensive wedding. So he's asking me like, okay, so the first thing is I need to make $1,000. Now, something that I didn't know then, and I didn't know actually until May, was you got engaged, and just, you know, I'm going to say this because it's a private community here, you know, of people. And I think it's inspiring. I know you've said it on stage when we were at the seminar in London, so I'll say it about the ring. Just tell a story about the ring, because I think this is a reason why. Just so everyone knows, like reason why. When he spoke it on stage, I was almost crying like that. Tell him.
So yeah, basically officially we got engaged in October, so before I'd come to see you. But, you know, we decided to get married quite a while before that. And at the time, I was just broke, so I couldn't buy a ring, basically.
No ring.
There wasn't a ring or anything like that.
Engaged, look at her shaking her head. No ring.
And
Engaged, no ring.
yeah, basically, like, to tell the story, I was just flat out broke. And in December, we literally had like 6 months, less than 6 months really, to make, you know, it's like 25, 30,000 pounds, right? We needed something like that.
Altogether, from the engagement party to the honeymoon, we spent
50,000.
50,000 quid. So we needed a lot. We needed a lot of money, and
Just
we
a little.
basically had none.
Just one promotion today, right, Joe?
So,
Just 1 week's work now. Go on.
So we needed a lot of money, man, and you know, I was just under pressure, like unbelievable amounts of pressure. And I remember sitting in that bar, man. I was just close to tears, and I didn't tell you this, Alex, but like I was crying. I ain't even scared to admit it, man. I was crying like on the phone to Gavina that week, like when I was there, man, because I didn't know, I didn't think it was gonna happen. I didn't think it was gonna happen, and yeah, then basically let's just say like by the time May came round, like it wasn't really an issue paying for the wedding and that. We went to a really nice honeymoon to Cancun. It was sick. Like spent way too much money there. And yeah, then basically like I like surprised her with a ring at Cancun basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one.
So in between, it was December 2012, you got married in May. Short periods of time, we're going to be talking about compressed periods of time today. Like that's what we're going to be working in, compressed periods of time. You know, time compresses. If I give you all 10 years to do something, it'll take you 10 years. If I give you a year to do it, you'll do it in a year. If I give you 90 days, you'll do it in 90 days. If I tell you to do it by tomorrow, Joe, let me stay there, Joey. But like, normally, if I want to launch a product, if I want to create a product, write a sales letter, get everything done, give me 3 days, I can do it. Time compressed, October 2013, we had to do it in a day. And in that day, I had to catch a flight from Toronto to Cardiff. And we made it in that day. And we crushed it in that day. And I was on a flight. Now, when I arrived, Adam looked like he had jet lag, and I was like, hey, everybody, how's it going? I was fine. Adam had to do some certain things for me. You know, I've got a partner who helps me with certain things. But we did it in a day, right? Compressed period of time is what I'm talking about. If we would have given ourselves 7 months, how long would it have taken us? 7 months. So today I'm going to be talking about compressing time to put yourself in that situation that happens. Like with Joey there, you know, Joey had to get married on that day in May. So I had to pay for it before then. You with me? So Joey, I'm pretty sure, and I've counted the days like many times. I think it's 39 days. I may be wrong. You know, there's a lot happened since then. You know, we've obviously, you know, you've had a lot of more success I followed. Talk everybody through here, like what happened, and everybody realized the reason why is behind this. It wasn't for fun. It was a compressed period of time. Reason why. Tell us what happened the first, you know, back then.
So basically, after I'd come and seen you, and we'd done the work and everything, I was just like super motivated. Jumped on like the first inner circle call, and was just buzzing, and
Yep.
was just asking Alex questions like every day, just bugging him a lot every day.
He was.
And I just had to ask questions because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So it was literally just asking questions, built a product together. Built the product in about 2 or 3 weeks it took me to build the product.
Here's the thing, let me just stop, right? When I brought Joey to Cardiff to shoot some video, because he was shooting video for me, Joey was sat in the back of my Range Rover, absolutely clueless. Didn't know what niche to go into, didn't know what industry to do, didn't know what product to create. He was like, you know, the perfect newbie in the back of my car, rabbiting on for 3 hours as I'm driving down the motorway. Calm down, bro. Calm down, bro. Got you covered, bro. You know? So it wasn't as if he had some idea. There was no idea, right?
Yeah, there
True?
was no idea. In
No
fact,
idea.
I remember, because I play music, and I remember one of the ideas we had in the bar was like making an info product on playing the guitar. So there was a lot of ideas just floating around in the air, man, at the time. And then it wasn't till, I think it's after we made the video, like after we created that video and we were just sitting down and just came to the conclusion that that's what I need to be teaching people, basically. And after we put the video out, and it just buzzed all over the internet. Like, people loved that video.
Yep.
And I was just kind of blown away. Like, people really liked it. And a lot of people started asking me how we actually made the video. And that kind of just pushed the idea. And I was just like, yes, all right, this is what I've got to teach. And just basically created a simple product, really, really simple. Like, it was just mind maps, like screen capture of mind maps, and me just doing a little voice over it. So it wasn't even like a special product, man. It wasn't that great, to be completely honest. Like, I could have done a much better job. But I put it together as the best that I could at the time, and yeah, just went on to basically sell it in March. It was March 2012, 11 a.m. Eastern time. I still remember it, man. And it was literally 30 seconds in, and I'd made like a couple of $100 in like literally a couple of minutes. And at the time, I just thought that was amazing. Like, my phone was buzzing all day.
Just tell them how, because I've never done this, and Mike Filsame, who is my mentor, like I've multiple mentors. Mike Filsame once told me a story about how he launched a website, and he set up a notification, and the sales went ding, 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 ding. I've never set up notifications. I recommend you all do, because it's so freaking cool. We're at dinner last night, so went to dinner last night. All put our phones in the middle of the table, so we you know, technology can be a bit of a sucker, right? So antisocial. So I said to everyone put their phones in the middle of the table. I learned it actually in a book called Thrive. Great book, by the way. Just write it down. Is a book. Anyone read it? Thrive by. I can never say a first name, and I should write. I'm going to write her a letter. And I'll say should. I'm going to write her a letter. Ariana Huffington, the lady who started the Huffington Post. It's called Thrive. So in there is an amazing book. I love it. Like, it's one of my best books I've ever read. In there, she talks about, you know, putting these bloody things in the middle of a table, and whoever picks up the phone first has to buy the meal. Right? It's genius. So last night I told everybody all phones in the middle of the table, but Joey's phone's like ding, 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 ding. Freaking notifications of sales, just flashing, you know. So go on. So
Yeah, it was just, that first day, like, it was insane, man. Like, every couple of seconds. In fact, it was so annoying. I know my mum was just like getting really confused, just like, why don't you turn your stupid phone off? And at night as well, I couldn't sleep. Like, I couldn't sleep because I didn't want to stop hearing my phone ringing. So I just left it on, right? And it's like all the way through the night, my phone's just dinging. I know I'm annoying my family and that, but it was just fun, man. I was literally just boosting with excitement, and it just lasted. It lasted a good week. Just kept buzzing, and
Money.
it's crazy, man. Don't get sick of that sound.
Yeah.
Even like last week, just couldn't get sick of it. It was fun.
So, you know, what I want to say here is, you know, first of all, give Joey a round of applause. And it is an inspiring story. You know, there's a guy who come to me. He's literally, you know, clueless. And I say this with the kindness of my heart, clueless. He's in the back of the car like, and I'm like, fucking hell, I don't know what. And then he started, you know, looking at ideas, started thinking, you know, and that's the great thing about this weekend is we're going to start thinking, right? People don't think. Nobody thinks out there. And you know, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but everyone's in that subconscious mode. You know, most people live in a subconscious state like 95% of the time all their life, so they don't think enough, right? And I'm not, you know, I'm sure I've told you about the different patterns of the brain and different areas that people live in. But Joey started thinking. He come out of, you know, that state of mind and started thinking, doing something for his own self, right? And then actually took action on it, which is important. And by the end of this weekend, you're going to have an action plan. Who wants an action plan to walk off here and have that action plan to have some sort of success like that? Now, I said some sort of success like that. How much did we make first week?
The first time I done it,
Yeah, first week.
I think it was like 65K that time.
$65,000 in his first week. Yo!
That was just the product though, innit?
Huh?
That was just from the launch.
That was just from the
Some
launch.
promotions and stuff.
Then after that, like, I've never asked you this question actually. And I've always spoken about with Adam. I should ask you, and I'm not going to throw out there now. I've always guessed he made 100,000 after that, like just after it, from like the customer list, from like, you know, webinars or whatever he did. My guess has always been must have made 100,000. You know, now bringing it to last week, Simon mentioned to me. Simon goes, Joey launched today. Cool. What's Joey launched? Oh, some little product. Cool. What's he done? 1,900 sales today. 1,900 sales today. I almost fell off my freaking chair. Bloody hell. So I don't want to put you on that. And here's the thing. Like, I want to inspire. I don't want to, like, you know, give Joey this big head of, like, all the money. But, like, I think it's very important to hear, like, we were at the bar last night. Just tell him that. Because I think it's really important, man. And we'll talk about the money. But, like, what you said at the bar last night about security and stuff.
About security?
Yeah, just like, you know. Well, let's first of all say how much you made last week.
Last week, we done $85,000 on the launch, and then last night, done about $2,000 overnight today, and yesterday.
You're buying dinner tonight, bro.
And last night, as in the night before, was about, we done 11 grand with Anthony.
So 2,000 last night, 11,000 night before.
Yeah, and then the week like prior was like coming up to about 85.
Okay. So like, okay, impressive numbers. Happy? Anybody not happy? Put your hand up. Right? But here's the thing. Just tell them what you said, Joey, because about just, you know, the houses and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
You know, when we were at the bar.
I was just basically just saying, number one, just how grateful I am, man, like for everything. And number two, it's just like the way my life's changed is like just insane, man. It's just so different. Perspective on life, understanding just of freedom, working for people, like what I can do for my family, how I can help my wife, just so many things. The list just goes on and on, man. There's so much stuff that's changed, it's just amazing. I'm just excited about it.
Yeah.
Just wanna make more.
Let's give him a round of applause. The thing is, you know, the excitement of wanting more, it isn't greed. Like, I've always wondered, this is a question in my mind. I'm successful, I'm secure, I'm happy. Why do I want more, right? So, like, now my passion is coaching, and you can obviously tell my passion's coaching. Every single freaking week, I don't want to put the phone down. Any more questions, right? It's my passion. I love it, right? So, my passion has changed. My passion was my passion was get out of debt. First of all, like my reason why. We'll write the reason why in a moment. Get out of debt. You know, reason why was, you know, secure the family. You know, I got children on the way. You know, I want that car. You know, my car back in the day was a Ford Escort XR3i. No more said. You know, I wanted the car. You know, so. That was the reason why. Now, my reason why is I want to make millionaires. So I want to make a certain number. I'm not going to say the number right now. I want to make a certain number of millionaires in the next 12 months. I want to make enough six-figure earners in the next 12 months. I want to help people make financial security. I want to help people quit their jobs. So you know when I hear on the phone call, I quit my job, tell the team, quit the job. That to me is my purpose, my passion, like what thrives me. When I wake up in the morning, I've got that spring in my step. That's it, you know. It's like when I go to the inbox, like I know Charlotte helps me a lot with my inbox. So my inbox is very busy with y'all, very busy. I wonder, like, what's in my inbox today? Like, what are they going to say? Now, there's a lot of questions, but there's a lot of gratitude as well. And when I read that gratitude, it's like, right, there you go. There's one. He's going to be next. And I start working out, like, how am I going to change him? What am I going to do with him? And obviously, I start working on the calls. Okay, he's on the call. Let me bring him on the call. So. My reason why it's changed. Now, also, I look at Dean, right? I think Dean's story is very important still, make the first dollar online. Because what I realized with Dean is my very first coaching client, and I don't know how many, but there's a lot in between, thousands of coaching clients in between. From Dean till now as I stand on this stage. I realized that when I got Dean to make that first dollar, and I told him how to set up the blog, how to write the blog post, the structure, how to get the traffic, how to build a list from it, what to do next, very simple things. He didn't just make $1, he made several $1,000s, $3,000. The next year, I won't put the microphone unless Simon's got the microphone, but like, okay, just Dean. So here's the thing. Dean had struggled for several years. How many years before? 4. Who's struggled for years, right? There's a lot of new clients in this room, right? Struggled. You're in the inner circle, you don't want to struggle anymore, right? So Dean struggled for 4 years. I didn't say, right, Dean, we're going to go and look to make $1 million. We're going to look at it. No, first dollar. Put him on the right track, right mindset, right frame, right setup. Made $1, made 3,000 after that. here's a funny story. First ever event like this of mine. I don't speak on people's stages, so I speak on my own stage. Only to the inner circle. I never really speak outside of this environment. Doesn't interest me. Paid very well. I could make $1 million a year from speaking on stage to groups of people, and I could be flown around the world. People would pay my first class flight. They would take me here, there, and everywhere to speak on stage. I turn it down. Always have, always will. We'll talk about why. It just doesn't interest me because of certain reasons. I'm speaking on stage in Vegas. I'm in a limousine with Dean. Dean has still got a job. He's made his first dollar now. We're already past this stage. Made his first dollar. We're in a limousine, and we videoed it. And I don't know who's got the video. I don't know if it was Ross, or I don't know if it was Mark. I don't know who videoed, but we got the video. I know the video footage is still with us somewhere, of a small community. And I'm telling Dean he's quitting his job at that point. You quit your job. You leave Vegas right now, you're quitting your job. And Dean's like, oh, I can't quit my job. Yeah, you know. You had that. Who feels security of a job? Put your hand up. Truthfully now, please put your hand up. Do you feel secure with a job? Yeah? It's that security that the world gives you, right? I would hate the security of a job. How can a job give you security, you know? It gives you that money to get by, you know? Set up an asset on the internet that makes you money. I say, Si, how many sales have we made now? We're going. I don't have to go, you know, it's not time for money. I hate working time for money. I like, you know, the stuff working for me, right? So I knew this years ago. Like, I've been doing this for years. I've been making money doing this for years. I'm in a limousine with Dean. I've already made $1 million. I'd made $1 million. I've mostly made about $500,000 myself at that point, maybe. And I'm like, Dean, you're quitting your job when you get home from Vegas. Tell him about it, Dean. So he had like an idea to quit his job, and I'm not telling people to quit their jobs, by the way. Please don't throw stones at me. I get the mindset that you have that security. But Dean had that mindset of security for this job. And I told him, you know, we're in a limousine. I said, you're quitting your job. So I actually made him do a testimonial in Vegas. And it's on the internet as well, this testimonial that he said, I have to go home and quit my job. And he was shitting himself. He was petrified.
Bear in mind, I've still got all this debt at this stage.
Yep.
Like, that wasn't all paid off. I was started to make money online. But I've got a lucky number that's 25, just one of those stupid things you say, that's my lucky number. And basically, in September 2009, which was when this was, earlier that year though, but in September was my 25th birthday, and it's on the 25th. So I said, right, I'm going to quit my job on my 25th birthday, on the 25th of September. And Alex is basically like, no, that's not happening. You're going home and quitting your job now. Like, do it properly.
Hand your notice in and you quit your job in 25 days.
Yeah, so basically, they pinned me in a corner and forced me to say this on video. Not really. But once I got caught on camera saying it, I know it can sound daft. Yeah, I had to go home and quit my job. But what basically happened was I went home, and at this stage, because of the sort of bad financial situation I'd been in, I'd actually moved back in with my mum at this stage. And strangely enough, I wasn't worried really about quitting my job. I was worried about telling my mum I was going to quit my job.
True.
I actually worked at the same company as my mum.
Wow. Wow.
And at this time, like, my salary was, I think, about $24,000 a year. So for someone that I haven't got any qualifications or anything like that, I didn't go to college or anything. So it was quite a decent wage for me at that stage. And I moved back in with my mum, and basically I'd landed from Vegas, got home, and she looked at me straight away and she went, oh God, what have you done? And I was like, nothing.
I put all my money on 25.
And I said nothing, and she was like, come on, because me and my mum were really close, and so she knew straight away I had something to tell her. I think she thought I'd been arrested in Vegas or something. And I kind of just mumbled under my breath, I'm quitting my job tomorrow. And she was like, what? But she was actually really supportive. She knew that I didn't like the job, and she knew that I'd obviously been trying a long time at this. And she basically told me to go for it, you know, so that was good. So I remember going into work the very next day. Bear in mind, I just had a week off to go to Vegas. I started work at 7:30 in the morning, but my boss started at 9. And I remember going to work that morning. I went into my office, wrote my letter of resignation at work, and handed it to him at 9 o'clock as he was walking in the door. And basically worked my 30 days notice and finished at the end of May, I think it was, that year.
Let me ask you a question. Does that inspire you? Just raise your hands, like just to quit the job. Does it inspire you? It inspired me to see it. Remember, Dean was my first coaching client, so it inspired me to see it from this perspective. I'd already done it. I'd already given my boss the bird, right? I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, you know, I can actually help people do this. But here's the thing. Dean didn't just quit his job. Dean had already had some sort of success. You know, when we were in Vegas, we were already in a room like this. You know, I was put on a room like this, a little bit smaller. You know, it was a bit of a smaller room. I was already telling Dean what to do, and we're obviously going to be working through that this weekend. I had a weekend in Vegas. It was a bit more like woo, hey. You know, Vegas is a bit different to Cardiff, right? I'm glad we did it in Cardiff instead of Vegas. Whole different environment. But I told Dean to, you know, he was working on a product. He was already working on his next product. Now, what's interesting is in the room, and we're going to talk about this shortly, about like having an accountability partner, having like, you know, who's in this room, you know, who are we with right now? Very successful people in this room, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna find out like who's in this room. You're like, wow. Dean was sat next to a person in that room who become partners, and let's just, you know, we'll get to this in a bit, but like, so the next year, from January to December of the next year, how much revenue did you make? Even tell the story if you want, you know, just to inspire them.
I guess just to carry on from that stage, after I quit my job, so I finished basically the 1st of June 2009 was my sort of first day working for myself. And as Alex had said, I'd actually been leading up to my first product launch, actual product of my own. Now, we actually made, I think about 2 weeks after my job, when we finishing my job, when I launched that product, we made, I think it was about $14,000 in a week. So
14 or 40?
14.
40.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14,000, which obviously nothing like what many people do. But for me at that stage, obviously half of that went out to affiliates, meaning I had about $7,000, which in comparison to what I was earning in my job, it still gave me, how I kind of worked it at that stage, was that now gave me 3 months worth of money to now make the next 3 months worth of money without having to really panic too much. So I kind of worked on that basis initially. Now, as Alex just said, I was actually, when I went to Alex's workshop like this, one of the people sat next to me, another one of Alex's coaching clients, actually had his own stuff going on and a few different projects. We actually ended up going into a partnership. He actually came and did a webinar with my customers from that launch and taught some stuff about traffic generation, which was his sort of expertise. After that webinar, what basically happened, I sort of said to him, that information you just taught on that webinar, you know, should we do something with it? Because it was just like a free training webinar, it wasn't something we were selling. And basically, we took his knowledge and decided to partner together to do a membership site, which was around traffic generation. Now, the following year, we basically launched this. It was October 2009, I think it was, something like that. And we just started growing it basically steadily, you know, without an actual product launch. We just started to grow it, and in the first month, I think we made about $2,000. The second month, we made $13,000. The third month, we made $18,000. And then on the fourth month, we made $115,000. And then
Mental, huh?
From that point onwards...
That's recurring income, by the way. Recurring income, that's monthly recurring income in a membership site.
And basically, being a bit new to any of that kind of form of income, I can tell you I really screwed up. And I stopped working for 8 months and travelled the world.
Dean, I call him MIA Dean, because I couldn't find him for the next 8 months. All I saw was pictures on the internet of Dean, like this country, that country, here, there, gone. Dean had just disappeared from the world, honestly. Gone. It was like, Dean, did you pick up the phone to me anymore, Dean? He's gone, you know? He's like, I've got no reception in this country.
Yeah, but the top and bottom is,
True
mistakes
story,
aside, that membership site that year, even though I was missing in action for 8 months, we made over $600,000 in 2010 from that one membership. And
round of applause there.
That was crazy.
Here's the great thing about it. Dean wasn't the expert. Hear what he said? He partnered with the expert and he was just doing the marketing. All Dean did was the marketing side of it. Got that expert, did the marketing. There's going to be several people you're going to meet this weekend who have made 6 figures and 7 figures who are in this room who ain't the expert. They just partnered with an expert and then just got the traffic flowing. Just understood the system, understood the marketing. Paul, right? Partnered with an expert now. Just bring the mic down, Dean. Just 2 seconds to Paul. I think, and we'll get to the reason why. But like, I don't know enough of Paul's story right now. What's going on? And I want to hear a bit more. So I'm really like interested. This is like what's happening. If you want to stand up, sit down. It's up to you. But like, what the hell is going on, Paul, with this fitness stuff? You know, so.
Okay, so as Alex mentioned before, I run a salsa club. Then Alex took these salsa DVDs and put them on the web in the form of a membership site. So that was that. A guy called Pete Cohen, who was on GMTV this morning as the weight loss guru for 10 years. We've kind of known each other for quite a while. And he saw what I'd done with the cybersalsa.com. And he put himself through the cyber salsa funnel, even though he didn't want to dance salsa, he just wanted to see what was up to. And he rang me up and he said, look, I want you to do for Weight Loss Guru what you've done for cyber salsa. So had a chat about it, and he said, look, we'll go 50-50. So revenue, we'll split it right down the middle. And so all I did is I just took stuff I'd learned from Alex and just applied the same principles that I'd applied to cyber salsa to Weight Loss Guru. And I think in the first month, we did like a little mini relaunch. We shut down Weight Loss Guru for 7 days, put the price up, tripled the price. That was the first thing.
Nice.
And added a few little bonuses in there, and did a little mini launch. So it was 4 videos that were good content videos. And then the 5th one was, if you enjoyed this, then sign up for Weight Loss Guru. And in the first month, he had an 820% increase in sales.
Wow.
Straight away. And so yeah, exciting.
Wow. Round of applause. Interesting. Me and Paul talk a lot. Well, not a lot, but enough. But we talk about boxing. So we'll talk, whether it's texting or on the phone, about boxing. Both have a big passion for boxing, like the art, the craft of boxing. So I forget about the business side with him a lot, So hearing that is just like, wow, I knew he'd partnered with somebody successful. I knew he'd partnered with the guru, and Paul was just helping with the marketing, right? Anyone in this room could do that. Like, you all have the same information. You all see it happening, seeing it live happening. What's interesting, what you said about tripling prices, and I'm going to move to the reason why in a moment, but I want to tell you the reason why you're in this room right now, okay? So I was in Vegas. Shit, I'm in Vegas a lot. Different time. I'm in Vegas. I'm attending a workshop like this, but like a different workshop. I was with Rich Efron, who is my coach, who's the coach of the gurus. Anyone not know who Rich is? I'm sure everyone knows. I tell you who he is, right? So Rich Efron's the coach of the gurus. They say he's helped create more millionaires on the internet than anyone else, right? Very clever person, love him to death. He's one of my best friends, top 5 best friends in the world. When we're driving in his Porsche, we're driving through Miami. He's like, you know what? If you're in prison I'm never going to prison. If you're in jail in Mexico, I'm the kind of guy who's going to wake up in the morning and drive to Mexico to get you out. You know what I mean? Like that kind of friend. I'm like, wow, real dear friend of mine. Real dear friend. So he invites me to Vegas, and Jay Abraham's there. Anyone know who Jay is? Right? Jay walks in the room, I almost fainted, right? It's like God to me, Like if you study marketing, this is the God of marketing. Like the guy, right? Of marketing in the world. The guy, I'm like, oh my God, I don't get starstruck, right? I can hang around with any celebrity and I'm not starstruck at all. Jay Abraham walked in the room, I'm like, whoa, right? So Jay walks up to me. Now Dean was talking about his partner. His partner was in the room as well. Adam, there was another guy, Jet, who were coaching clients of mine in Marketing with Alex live, right? So Jay's making a circle of a room with his red wine, very suave guy. And he walks up to me, he's like, what do you do? Nothing really. And these 2 guys like, what do you mean nothing? Like, I've built a 6-figure business. I've built a 6-figure business. You've helped us both. What do you mean you do nothing? I'm like, the fuck is Jay, bro? Shut up, So Jay says, you sound like you're successful. You help people. What, how much you charge? I give him a price. He said, raise your prices, right? Raise your prices. I can't raise my prices. I don't know how to raise my prices. Slap me across the face. Literally, slap me across the face. Shit, son. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Raise your prices. I don't know how to slap me. Didn't even give me a chance. Slap me across the face again. The hell's this guy up to? I don't know how to raise my. Slap me again. All right, I'll raise my prices. Job done. Walked off with his red wine. I was in absolute awe of this guy. I'm like, wow, right? Well, I didn't have the cojones. I actually moved to San Diego for 3 months. I left Vegas, went to San Diego, my family, spent 3 months in San Diego, and pretty chilled out, didn't raise my prices. I didn't grow the balls to raise my prices, is the true story. I just hung out. Come home, though, and I got on the phone with Rich again. I'm like, that meeting with Jade, really, got me thinking, I need to raise my prices. And Rich started saying to me, why I had to raise my prices to get a better caliber of client. The people who pay the most money are going to get the most success, I have thousands of customers who give me a few bucks here or there, like $10 here or there. I can't help thousands of people who give me $10. I can help the people who invest in themselves, get in the room, get on the phone with me every week, and speak to me. They're the people who turn up and show up. When I show up, I can help. So Rich is explaining this to me, and I'm like, wow, you're right. I need to raise my bloody prices. Next morning, went downstairs, in my kitchen, raised my prices. Rest is history. That's why you're in this room. So I raised my prices. I want you to give yourselves sort of a round of applause for being here. Seriously. Because to be here, you've invested in yourselves, and that means a lot, because there's a lot of people out there who won't do that. You understand? They just won't do it. Now, they're on the outside, we're on the inside. That's why it's called the inner circle, right? So the lucky thing is you're in the inner circle now. I'm raising my prices again soon. Because I've realized we have to keep raising our prices to keep it that exclusive. People are coming in, people hear about this now. Do you know how I don't talk about the inner circle on the internet? If you've noticed, I don't speak about it. I don't promote the inner circle on the internet, apart from my own internal marketing. But people are now talking about it. I type in Alex Jet. Here's another thing. I used to think I didn't have an ego. One day I'm in Miami, and Rich says, what are you doing? I said, Googling myself. He goes, and you ain't got an ego, right? So I Google myself every day. It's just one of my things I do. And as I type in AL now, it goes, Alex Jeffrey's in a circle. I'm like, it's actually a lot of people speaking about now. So I need to now raise the prices to keep it more exclusive. Okay? Because I don't want it to be that big thing. I don't want it to be one of those. I think everybody knows the other thing that's up there that I'm not even going to mention the name because I don't hate them. Empower Network. Fuck. Okay. So anyway, as we move it forward now, so my reason why now is different, okay? My reason why is to, I've hit that financial security. I've secured myself. I've secured my family. I have what I want, when I want, where I want, right? Now mine is to make a number of millionaires, make a number of six-figure earners, make a number of people who quit their jobs, make a number of people who make their first dollar online. What's your reason why, right? Now, I wrote some things down here that could be interesting reasons why, right? I think it's self-explanatory, but I want to just I'm sure this is many people in the room. I was thinking ahead. I'm like, what would their reason why be? This was mine, quit the 9 to 5. Who wants to quit the 9 to 5? Seriously, who wants to quit that 9 to 5? It's so easy. When I quit my 9 to 5, I literally give the bird. True story. Put my middle finger on, I'm done. Go on. He's like, you'll be back. That was June 2005. Many years later, I'm not back, right? Maybe a reason why is that financial security. Maybe a reason why is the car. Maybe a reason why is, to vacation around the world or freedom or what it is. I want you to write it down. I'm going to take a couple of moments. We're going to take 5 minutes for this because the reason why is so important. Once you understand your vision and you tie it in with the emotion of the reason why, it becomes so powerful. Let's take a couple of moments, and Ben, if you want to put the music on, we'll do that. So I look forward to hearing your reason whys. So what's interesting, I want to ask some questions here, and I'll have Simon with the microphone, and he's going to hand out some other paperwork in a moment. But what I've written down, obviously, it's quite amazing. I've spoke to a lot of you before, and people say Actually, let's just hear the reason why. Like, just two moments. Chris.
All right, so I have a list: retire my wife, purchase a home, pay off student loan debt, leave my job.
What do you do for a job?
I'm a school teacher.
He's a school teacher in America. So when we first met, he kept the kids out of the class, and he had me on Skype. He's like, kids, leave the class. And he's walking around the classroom, all the American flags are now there. He's like speaking to me on Skype. He's like, yeah, the kids are like busting through the door. But like, here's the thing, I need to quit this job, man. Like, what do I do? Right? Here he is.
Also, to change lives around the world. 'Cause
Yes.
I do like teaching, but I want a bigger reach without having a lesson plan for work 50 hours a week, you know?
Yep.
Travel with family. I want to build a business where I can hopefully employ some of my family members so they
Yep.
don't have to have unfulfilled lives and we can work towards something together. And ultimately just to live a fulfilling life. I don't feel fulfilled just being in a classroom all day.
Yes. Cool. Do you want to give it to John a second? Just, what he's saying there, I hated school. Hated it. I wasn't the fit for school. So I didn't like teachers. So when I started becoming a teacher myself, I'm like, oh my God, am I going to become one of those? And I thought that myself, I'm teaching. I'm like, but no, I'm not one of those. One of those. No offense. I get to teach what I want to teach, how I want to teach it, where I want to teach it, and rewards me. And here's the thing, I say this, Joey's success, when Joey stood up earlier, it isn't about, hearing Joey's numbers. Like, my selfish reason is, it makes me feel good that he's done that. Not to tell people, I'm like, wow. I wake up and I'm like, wow, like, and I know the story. I know so many of your stories. So I hear Joey's story, I'm like, for a selfish reason, I'm like, wow, I helped that guy change his life. It's very, so I get to teach that and do something, it's like you. If you teach somebody how to do salsa, you know what I mean? And somebody goes and sweeps a lady away. Very rewarding, right? John.
Okay, like Chris, is obviously the family being able to pay for stuff, but the thing that's really driving me with this is it's the achievement of it. Obviously, what I do at the moment, I make millions for other people every year.
Yep.
I want to be able to do it for myself.
Yes.
And again, it's not even the value of the money of it, it's me doing it for myself.
Yep.
And, I hear great story, Joey done that, and I'm sitting here going, why can't I do this? What is it I'm missing here?
There you go. So I love it. Good. Well, that's going to bring up the next sheet I'm going to hand out in a minute. It's interesting, and we're going to go here. I've got a lot of worksheets that I work with, and I'm kind of a person that, I run an internet business. I hardly use the computer. I use pen and paper. Like, I literally use pen and paper. Here's a funny thing. Dean thinks, well, Charlotte's my PA, and she really tries to stop me doing 20 trees a day. But Dean used to go like, wow, bro, like you use a lot of paper. I used to have piles of paper. So I like to write my ideas down, and that's what I'm doing for you, is like working out these kind of things, right? So as we'll progress, we're going to come back to John. He said, like, I make people millions, but why can't I do it for myself? Why can't I, right? We'll fix that this weekend, I promise you. Pass the phone to Gary, the microphone to Gary. So Gary's come from, which is interesting, Gary's flown all the way from Australia to be in the UK right now. I wanted to give him a round of applause for that. Right? Like, the furthest point he's come to be here, right? Surely has a reason why, right? Tell us the reason why.
I just want to have more spare time, travel the world a bit, no longer worry about money at all.
Yep.
And be able to help others.
Who can relate to that?
Really satisfying to help
Who can relate
others.
to that? The greatest thing, thank you, man. The greatest thing Gary said there is, all the things were about you until you said help others. You will get everything you want when you help others. And it's like, here's the thing, right? So I'm in a weight loss situation right now where I'm losing body fat. And I went through it thinking I could lose body fat. And I got to the second weigh-in of my body fat loss, and I'd lost half of my body fat. Right? So I'd lost half of it. So I'm like, you may think that's good. I've gotten halfway and I've lost half. But I didn't know how I got there. And I'm like, if I knew how I got here, I would lose a lot more than half. So I started studying about the body, and I've been on a little mission recently about studying my body. Counterintuitive, and Jay, I had a conversation with Jay about this last night, To lose body fat, I have to increase my fat intake. How strange is that? So I have to eat more fat to lose body fat. True story, Jay? Yeah. Now, Jay is a cut, lean, badass. He's got like a serious, like, great body. Like, he is like, machine, right? So, and he's well studied on the situation of it. When I speak to him, I'm like, wow, like, this guy's so clever about it. I've become a little bit clever, but nowhere near as clever as that. But as I'm talking about, like, increasing my body fat, and we're talking about, like, I'm not even going to get into all of it, but the point is, it sounds strange that I have to intake more fat to lose fat. Does that sound strange? Yeah. Right? So Gary's talking about himself, to help more people around the world. Help more people around the world. You get all of that. You with me? And I know it sounds strange, but it's just so true. So what I want to do again now is, I think Gary really covered it. Unless anybody else wants to put their hand up for the reason why, just to say it out. It's always nice to put it, there you go, it's always nice, Mike, you need the microphone, it's always nice to say why, just to get out there in the world,
I've done it once. I had the six-figure business.
Nice.
And we decided to move to France and live the dream.
Nice.
And I'm absolutely bored senseless. And I've been ill for 8 years, and I want to get back into it.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's why I'm here.
It's different, yeah. I like it, thank you. I used to be able to make 6 figures in a day. I've made 6 figures in a day multiple times. I can put a sequence of events together whenever I like. I can do it now. I don't like doing it now because I've got a different business model that makes me a lot of money continually without me doing that work. I can make $100,000 in a day when I like, right? So I used to do that, and I used to make several $100,000 in a week, and I'd have these, several $100,000 in the bank helps. That help? It helps, right? So I used to be really lazy then, travel the world. What are you all talking about? But then I found myself, but I didn't have a purpose. I'm like, I've got all this money, but I've got no purpose. I really want to help, and I started realizing that the people wanted me to help them, but I was just doing my own thing. I'm here, there, and everywhere. You brought that out to me. That I was already living my life and enjoying stuff, but there was something more that I could do, so I could help people. And as I started helping people, my business has grown and grown and grown and grown. That this year we've made multiple millions this year just selling information, my information. We've got a 6-figure business selling other people's information, but I've got a multi-million-a-year business selling my information, and I get to help people. And I wake up every morning, I could be anywhere in the world. I've been on the calls with you, and I'm in Florida, I'm in San Diego, I'm Vegas again? Vegas, man. Yeah. The problem is I've got a company in Vegas. Big excuse to my wife. Vegas. So I've done that, but the point is that, you want to do something worthwhile, right? And it is, you have that self-worth. Like, I feel when I hear the stories, it's pretty impressive. So what I want to do now is, I want to take a few moments to write down the obstacles why you cannot have your reason why, your vision, why it's not possible right now. I'm too old, I'm not technical, I'm too late, I don't know what niche to go into, I don't know how to create a product, I don't know.